In many course books, there are exercises in which you need, according to the task, to find and correct mistakes. This gives students an opportunity to look at themselves from the outside, and personally I like such activities, especially if students are also required to indicate the type of the mistake made.
Correct the mistakes. Can you identify the type of mistakes?
By the way, in the past, such tasks used to be regarded, and perhaps some still believe so, they were considered non-pedagogical. Because such exercises, they say, give visualization of an incorrect image. I think this is a manifestation of totalitarian dominance. Once something is printed somewhere, it has been verified, approved and allowed by someone, which means it is true and cannot be the subject of critical perception. Unfortunately, this dominance is still alive, and sometimes it seems to me that it is transmitted at the genetic level.
Я каждый день смотрю телевизор и уверяю вас, что очень хорошо знаю нашу молодежь.
А я вот где-то читал, Борщев, что не так страшны предатели и убийцы, потому что они могут только предателя убить, а страшны равнодушные. Это с их молчаливого согласия происходят все преступления.
А у тебя что же, и телевизора нет?
Нет. И радио нет, и газет я не выписываю.
Молодец.
Нет.
Another type of tasks that we practice at our New Forward Language School is mutual checking. Students become teachers and inspect each other's work. It's very funny to observe the degree of responsibility they approach this mission at. Often they don't see mistakes because they haven't learned some material themselves yet, and sometimes they manage to find mistakes where there aren't any. Everyone knows the aphorism, dubious in its truth, that they say we learn from mistakes. In spontaneous colloquial speech, everyone makes mistakes. It's just that some people know how to listen to themselves and catch themselves on the fact that they've just made a mistake, and others are deprived of this ability. They do not believe when they are corrected and get outraged. That's what I said, they say. In general, there are many synonyms in English. Mistake, error, fault, bug, fallacy, failure, slip, blunder, gaffe, and some others. A fault means an unattractive or unsatisfactory feature, especially in a piece of work, also a bug and a failure, or in a person's character.
The civility with which they acknowledge their faults is a positive characteristic, one associated with real culture.
The problems have been attributed to computer software failure and electrical faults.
A fallacy is a mistaken belief, especially one based on unsound arguments or a failure in reasoning which renders an argument invalid.
What binds all these things together is our recurring human mistake, the fallacy of total belief in the present and its technology.
Finally, yet another theory of fallacy says a fallacy is a failure to provide adequate proof for a belief, the failure being disguised to make the proof look adequate.
A slip is a small, unimportant mistake that is easy to make.
Her accent is serviceable, but there are occasional slips. People doing this kind of precision work can't afford to make the slightest slip.
A stupid or careless mistake can be called a blunder.
And an embarrassing blunder It was mistakenly sent to the home of an elderly Swindon woman who shared the same name as the child's grandmother. There are people hired by filmmakers to check possible mistakes, but glaring blunders still get through. Once upon a time in Hollywood. The Tarantino film includes a Starbucks sign in the background. The problem? The coffee chain was created in 1971, while the scene was set in 1969.
A gaffe is similar to a blunder. It is an unintentional act or remark causing embarrassment to its originator.
As in all such debates, the principal goal is to avoid a gaffe which will make embarrassing headlines the next morning.
But surely the most common of these words are mistake and error. There is an opinion that the matter is in the style of speech. The word error is official and is used most often when talking about calculations and documents. Also, this word is often found in context when it comes to an error in operation or equipment or programs. For example, an error occurred when sending a message. Indeed, the word error, unlike mistake, has a Latin origin, and such borrowings are characteristic of clerical and scientific discourse. However, in fact, the main dissimilarity between these synonyms is quite different. An error is a mistake in writing or speaking when you don't realize you've made a mistake or think you're doing something correctly. When you make a mistake, you're capable to correct it because you know the rule you've broken, and what is more, an error is a mistake that you are making that can cause serious problem for someone.
It's funny how you can do nice things for people all the time and they never notice. But once you make one mistake, it's never forgotten.
I would be grateful if you would correct the mistakes in your article so your readers may not be misinformed.
On your CV, make sure everything is typographically perfect and that there are no spelling mistakes.
A minute mistake, an error of judgment, is all that it takes for a ghastly mishap to occur, resulting in death or worse, a lifelong disability.
The report called the error serious mistake and also revealed that the intern was sick himself when he was taking care of the patient.
When somebody persists in their mistake or worries too much, think that life is over, everything is lost, it is annoying both for them and others. It is not the mistake itself that gets us embarrassed, the inability of the person to correct it. Admitting your mistake to yourself is not always easy. You need experience. And it's not necessary to do it publicly. It might be a shame or a show-off. We need experience so that after a mistake has been made, we could get involved in the work as soon and easily as possible. And we needn't force the mistakes to be admitted. People should be encouraged to correct it. Reacting the way the spectators react at competitions, sometimes even rewarding the fallen and easily corrected their mistake with joyful applause at first opportunity. And if you still like aphorisms, here this one is better. It's the one who does nothing that is not mistaken. To whom this quote was just not attributed, they're fucking me up with their aphorisms.
Gonna keep on walking.